can you tell me about the experience of acting Oro out, and of course the whole the get-up, the look, the feel, and you look really short in the movie. But Balki was just telling me earlier that that's just an angle.
Yeah.
So if you could just throw some light on the.
Well, that was my apprehension when he narrated the idea to me, how they were going to make me look 13, and how they were going to make me look like a patient. The moment the first trial makeup was done, we knew immediately that the makeup was going to work, and all the rest of it followed afterwards. I do believe that almost 90% of the credit for the performance or the look or the attitude or whatever it is that Oro does in the film is due to that makeup. Once that comes on, it takes care of 90% of your job. The other 10% came from the script, the way it was written, the situations, the dialogue, movement, attitude, how I'm going to speak, how it's going to be shot, was all Balki's inputs. We tried various angles as far as the camera was concerned, and I'm sure that PC sir and Balki must have spent many, many days discussing this issue. It's important to realize that because you have a taller person, and yes, height is something that we took a liberty with, because we didn't want to deliberately make me short physically by going through another makeup process, because everyone is aware of my height, and then suddenly to diminish me by a couple of feet would have looked very pretentious. And that's one thing that I've always liked about Balki, is that he wants to cut out any kind of pretension in any of his films. He wants it to be as normal, as real as possible, and even in the performances that he wants to extract from his people is, I don't want you to make too much effort, which actually is the most difficult thing for any actor to do, because in some ways acting is looked upon in many parts of the world and in this country as well, if you are excessive. But he's the reverse, and he says, I don't want you to be too excessive, and that's really tough for an actor. It's very difficult to be normal in front of a camera. There's no computer graphics, and I think that Balki was very sure right from the beginning excuse me, that we were not wanting to do any kind of jiggery pokery and say, we painted this face and we cut him short and so on and so on. No, he wanted it to be as real as possible, but yes, within that format of reality, how best we could make him look like a patient who is suffering from progeria. And in that respect, I think he and PC sir have managed it beautifully well.
What about the experience of first getting the makeup on and then removing it?
Very tedious process. What you see here is actually made up is 8 pieces, 8 different pieces. The makeup is they first do a casting from your waist upwards into your entire face, hands, legs, everything. That cast is made of some paste which remains on your body. You're just given 2 little holes through which you can breathe and live. And then once that is formed, it is taken off and it is sent to Los Angeles, where Christian, the wonderful makeup man, then designs the interior of that cast according to the face and the prosthetics, using silicone, which is the closest thing that comes to skin. Then he designed those pieces, and these are 8 pieces put together. So there's the head, there are the cheeks, there's the portion under the eye, forehead, eyebrows, the top lip, the lower lip, under the chin, the neck, ears, nose, all separate pieces. But because they have to be all aligned and made to look as part of your normal skin, it's an extremely delicate and very meticulous process. So about 4.5, 5 hours to put it on, and you can't move, you can't eat, you can't speak, you can't drink anything, you can barely breathe.
To watch more, subscribe to youtube.com/ETNowLive.